got a trip to that?
Horizon. All right, one more time. Welcome to Event Horizon. I'm Angus Mustang, and we have Lord Raul sharing the camera with me tonight. We have Little John from his cabin somewhere in the woods of North Carolina, and we got Jason Barker, host of the Knights of the Storm and the Foxhole. Welcome, gentlemen. Now everybody sees what happens in the green room, so I'll edit some of that out where we gave away our personal information, like John spouting off all kinds of stuff. Now, God, I really don't feel like talking about what I wanted to talk about, but I'm going to anyway because I don't know how you guys are, but I'm getting concerned with the way everything is going for us in the world in general. I mean, it's especially hearing the doctor talking today or yesterday or I'm sorry, Thursday about May 4th. What was that program? I forget the economics guy, but he has the AI.
Oh yeah,
that said that something's going to happen in May
of 2024.
Yeah, and WW3 is going to kick off in May 2024, and I think we're already pretty damn close. And that probably actually has already kicked off if you really look at it. But
Aren't we really just an extension of World War II, though? Honestly,
war never ends. Only wars
Right.
do. They just change the name, but there's always a war. War is a constant. But
just changes region.
But yeah, years ago I used to, and I'm not bashing anybody because a lot of it's the governments. It's people say, well, we're terrible as Americans. Well, no, we the people aren't. The government is. The corporation that's running the country. The greed and all that. But and it's the same with the Israelis. I'm not saying all Israelis are bad, but I used to kind of stand for Israel. I always thought that the Palestinians and all that were terrorists, as they would give you the propaganda, that what they're doing. But man, after learning what I've learned over the years about Israel and how they treat these people, at some point they're at their breaking point. The way we're getting here, with the way we're getting treated by our own government, you get to a breaking point.
Can I jump in there real quick?
Absolutely, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's a good point because I believed in everything too. America, drink your Budweiser beer and watch your baseball or your football, and them damn terrorists. We got to go get them. Got to fight them there, so we don't have to fight them here because they're coming for us, right? I was into that, totally into that. But when you start seeing things, especially going over there and seeing things from a different perspective, and then talking to people. Because we have more and more refugees that have been displaced here, and I've met some. And being military, they come over and some would thank me, hey, thank you. I was in, because they buy into the crap too. But looking at it from another person's perspective, we're the freaking terrorists.
Yep.
We're the biggest, Iran, the largest state sponsor of terror. Oh, really? Or really, asshole? Have you seen what we do? All right. You've seen what we do? We destabilize nations. Then we put our leader in. And then whenever they don't do what we want, we go to war with them. Or we use them as a proxy. If they do what we want, we use them as a proxy to go to war with somebody else. And that's happened over and over since World War II.
We bring them a bucket load of democracy.
Yeah, exactly. Here, force feed it into you. And, we're not supposed to be democratic anyway. We're supposed to be, what is that, representative republic, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Something like constitutional republic, representative. But why are we telling other people what they got to do? Why don't we just come home and mind our own business? And, wait till someone actually asks us for help and not money. I don't know, my 2 cents.
But no, and I agree. And that's the same way, even when I was in the Navy, I always used to think that how do you go and force democracy is somebody's choice, but we're going to go force this upon them. Because damn it, they need democracy. Well, that's not a freaking, and then they rigged the election so that the communists won. What the hell happened here? And it's
isn't that
here longer than we think that it's been happening.
Isn't that what we do here though? Forced choices.
Yes.
It's funny, you have two people to vote for, right? There is no really, you can't get on a ticket as a libertarian or even independent anymore. So yeah, it's your choice, but it's a false dichotomy. It's a false choice.
And I really believe it. Even just the Republican and Democrat is a false choice. It's the same party.
Mm-hmm.
It's us versus them. That's your two-party system, and that's these people. And you see it. They, picture them I'm trying to think of that guy's name. He was like Speaker of the House or something, and him and Nancy Pelosi used to always go at it. And then there's pictures of them out to dinner.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just like the old cartoon with the fox and the rooster or something. Who I can't really.
When they were in and out.
Foghorn Leghorn, yeah. And then at the end of the day, they would punch the time card and they'd go out and hang out together.
Yeah, I say, you want to get dinner?
Yep, exact same thing.
Smack.
But so you know the way I look at it. Okay, and actually, you and I, Jason and I, we had communicated. I think we were getting ready to do a show on Saturday, and I texted you. I said, "Wow, Israel's at war," and that's when it was like 10 hours old. It's, you know, so you start looking at things and going, you start finding out that they pulled the 3 battalions that guard that area back, or they moved them somewhere else just before. Yeah, they said, well, because we heard that they were going to come in this way. So you already knew that this was going to happen, and you leave this border open. And you've seen pictures of how they came across. They basically walked across, you know, bulldozers and stuff to knock down the fence.
And then they walked back.
Yeah. It's like, this is bullshit. And they took over a tank, you know, took the crew out of a tank. The tank that sure didn't put up a hell of a fight. I don't think they did anything.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and there was some other stuff that I think Rhonda, it might have been Rhonda Tate that sent it out to me and Vince via email. There was some festival that they had changed venue like right before to a non-secure location. It's like, you don't do that. And the red flags for me was, and this is the first thing I saw when you sent me the email. I turned on before the show, I turned on the news, and I'm watching, and every major news outlet had like crews already there filming. Okay. So it's how did you know to have people there? Remember when Roger Stone was arrested at like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. or whatever? Yeah. And the dude happened to be in the bushes, CNN guy or whatever, had bushes. Oh, wait, you just hang. Do you live in his bushes? Like, how were you there to know that something was going to happen right now? Everybody had people there. They had their hotel reservations. They had their camera crews out there. They had their equipment out there. They were ready to rock and roll, had their satellite uplinks preset. So was this something that was known, and were they staged for it? And also, one thing in the very early report, so you got people reporting on this seconds after it happens, and there's no Iron Dome missiles. That Iron Dome is damn near impenetrable. And I as they were reporting and showing others, I was like, where's the missile strikes, you know, to stop this? We had that crap on Bagram Air Base. Bagram Air Base had some crazy thing that even just a mortar coming over the wall could be taken out.
Well, that's it's like the Jeffrey Epstein thing. All their electronic surveillance is down.
Right.
Nothing's working at that point in time. How do you get that?
Well, the whole thing stinks. It stinks, you know.
Oh, and then they've got supposedly. I didn't get to see the whole clip, but supposedly they were setting up bodies of children and blaming Hamas. They were trashing either a hospital room or nurseries or whatever, and they've got it on video of them staging the bodies before anybody even got in there.
Yeah, that's a tough one because there's so much like actual misinformation out there that it's hard to tell, is this somebody just trying to get a bunch of clicks and views? But I've seen a lot too. I've seen a lot that looks pretty hinky to me. They're like, hey, you know, we're not live yet, but go ahead and move your arm over here. Okay, turn your head. Okay, I got it. Okay, I'm dead, right? It's like, come on, man. And that's what got a lot of people in trouble with Sandy Hook, because Sandy Hook, there was a lot of that kind of stuff going on. Now, is it that it's all fake, or is it that somebody wants to monopolize on the tragedy to get a bunch of views and clicks and, you know, get to the top of the ratings? And so they made their own little shit up. Who knows, you know?
Well, I saw one for a podcast that I check out once in a while, and he was showing you the clip of 2 dead bodies in this picture, but then he was able to move the bodies with the mouse and reposition them on the screen. It's like, if that's a real photo, you can't move the bodies around on the screen. You can zoom in and zoom out, but not move the bodies.
Wow. So it's like layered, like some software.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
CIG or CGI. But my thought of it being a false flags occurred when I started seeing this is Israel's 9/11. Okay, here we go. Here then you start thinking about it. This is the group that the country that has the third largest army, the third most active army, and then also they have Mossad, who is supposed to be the world's greatest
badass,
intelligent agency, and they didn't see this coming. Bullshit.
Even though Egypt called them up and went, "Hey, you've got a problem coming."
That's right. And Egypt told them.
Well, here's something
that happened.
Here's something people aren't talking about. I wish somebody should do this. Maybe I'll do this. Go and look at how much money that we have dumped into assistance for defense over the years. How many billions and billions of dollars, and then show this and be like, well, it don't work. I guess we should stop spending money overseas because it doesn't work.
Well,
obviously,
and then Israel, they say we consider them an ally, and they sold our weapons technology to China.
Oh, and as a biblical reference, my nephew was over there as part of a detail. And when I talked to him, his first comment was he now understands why Jesus flipped over the tables inside. Yeah. He said, now I understand why he flipped the tables. It's still going on.
So here's a little bit something else. So, now Israel, this gives them an excuse to commit genocide and grab a bunch of land. And a lot of people aren't aware of is also that they have I'm sorry, wrong one. But okay, so here's China's invested in Israel technology and infrastructure, but they are working on the Belt and Road Initiative with China. So they get free trade, free trade access. So they need more land too to make that a hub. And what a better way to get it, and what a better way to kill off your people that you think are cattle, and you don't, you just don't like, or you're never going to accept that they're actually people. But the whole thing is just freaking disgusting. But
you know what makes this dangerous, a little more dangerous than your typical conflict, is that a typical conflict, the people don't care. Like, let's just say I lived in Arizona. Let's just say I'm a resident of Arizona and I go to work every day, and Mexico and the United States were fighting over who owned Arizona. I wouldn't give a shit. I don't care who I just want to do my daily stuff and go to work, and I got no beef with people that are supposedly from Mexico and people are supposedly from the United States. You can draw that imaginary line where you want. It's all about tax revenue for you. That's all it is. For me, it doesn't change my daily life. But in this scenario, these people have been raised since birth to hate each other.
Yep.
So they actually, that's the real problem here, is that they hate each other for no good reason other than they were taught to hate each other. They've tried to do that with us here in the United States with race and sex and everything else. But they've ruined our lives so bad that we're just busy trying to go about our daily lives that it didn't work as well as they thought, because we all go through the same bullshit. So, but over there, yeah, that's the problem. If you just draw an imaginary line on a map, does that change anybody's life over there? No, it doesn't. I don't, but they've been taught to hate each other.
Well, it's the same. I always say the way that the parties, the people in charge, the political elite, the powers that be want to keep us at each other's throat, keep us divided. So we've always grown up, you see it on TV. Blacks are nothing but a bunch of gangsters. They see that white people are just a bunch of stupid honkies that, slave owners. And that's the same thing these people are fed. The Jews just see the Palestinians and the Arabs as terrorists, straight out, and yeah, I agree. Hamas probably does want to kill them because they're just fed up with what they, the way they've been treated. Like I said, at some point, something's going to break. But here's a little article about, the Belt and Road Initiative with China, and Israel is linked to this. Again, so, they need more land And what a better way to get it, and solve two birds with one stone. Kill off the people you don't like and get their land.
Especially if you can get the world's backing on it and go, look
Yeah.
how awful this is.
That's one thing I'll say about Israel. They always play that victim card.
I would say that there's similarities here with Ukraine as well, but Ukraine isn't as ambitious, I don't think. Ukraine just wants the aid. They want the aid. They want to rebuild their infrastructure. They want to do all this other stuff. You got to burn it down first. So,
but see, that's where I think that Ukraine is just money laundering is all we're doing.
Oh,
that's
100%.
it.
Like
that is it right there, Angus. That is it.
You look and it's like we were talking the other day. The Hamas-Israel war is real because you see actual footage.
Yeah, it's amazing. You see footage of that.
You haven't seen any footage. The only footage you see from Ukraine is like from World War II or Sarajevo or something like that.
And it's so real time. It's so real time. It's like
it was bombed out.
Every network had somebody out there with their cameras. They're like, all right, 3, 2, 1, start the war. It's like they were there. So I just want people to think about that.
Oh, the other thing too I saw, which somebody wanted an explanation for, is you were watching some of these buildings explode, but there was no missile strike going in. So there was no artillery going in. There was no shells, no rockets, but the buildings would just explode.
In Israel?
Yeah.
Yeah, now that you mentioned, I've seen, and actually I kind of thought about it the other day because I saw one of them and it had that 9/11 thing where it just kind of collapsed into its own footprint type deal. Like,
no, Lord Raul, I understand. I've seen some of these buildings go down. I didn't see no rocket or anything hit the building, but there was an explosion and boom, the thing is down.
And it would have to be a hell of a size rocket to take down the whole building.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or a tank round or artillery round. They're not that damn.
No, they just put holes. They punch holes.
What are these buildings made of? Like old concrete bricks that we used to use back in the 60s?
Maybe cinder blocks or something. But
I think the limit is like 4 or 5 stories or something. If you don't use the steel reinforced concrete, there's a limit to how high. That's why even in New York, it was like 4 or 5 stories or something is the max before it starts crushing its own material under its own weight. You got to have that steel reinforced, and you can't just make an explosion and drop a steel reinforced building like that. And that's why I knew immediately 9/11 was BS, because it wouldn't fall like that. It wouldn't. It just would not.
Too perfect.
Yeah, too perfect. It has to be. You have to place a cutting charge at strategic points along those reinforcements in order to get it to pancake like that. It takes them weeks of preparation to drop a building like that.
9/11 makes me sad because I used to work there, and I know that building could not fall like that.
No.
Yeah, and at the beginning, caught up in the fear at the beginning, the hatred, the shock. I believed it. But then okay, so a couple years go by, and now you start actually looking, and you go, "There's no way that happened like that. The way that I'm told that this happened." And as you start looking further and further, you find out how much these people have been lying to us about every freaking thing in our life. Pretty much, it's okay. And here's another thing about Israel that's always kind of ticked me off: the Liberty, the USS Liberty.
Yep.
That they attacked that ship flying an American flag. Why are these people our allies? They've never done anything for us. Take money. What are they protecting us from? We give them billions of dollars every year. So what?
The Liberty was a misunderstanding.
Yeah,
that's.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Remember what happened? Well, actually, so when Iraq hit the USS Stark, I think it was, they were ready to go after them just for that. And I'm actually surprised we didn't.
I think that we've always stood as a nation because we were a nation under God. We were a Christian nation. That was our founding principles. We're not a Christian nation anymore.
Oh God, no,
we're not. We're a heathen nation.
The moment they started pulling God out of everything.
Yeah, but and this is what really irritates me is I'm not pro or for the nation state of Israel. It's none of my business.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a shit what happens over there. That's your problem, not mine. Okay. If you can prove to me that you're being bullied and then you ask us for our help, maybe we'll talk about it. But the problem is that they use the nation state, that the word Israel, and the word Israel, then, Israelites, that's used in the Bible. And we used to be a Christian nation. So, okay, we got to stand for our roots. I think that's where people conflate the religion versus the nationality, or the blood. And then now you have a nation state. A nation state is not a religion. It is not a heritage. It is somebody in charge saying this is what we're called. What if I called myself, what if I started my own country and called it the Islam Hood or whatever? Does that mean that everybody that's Islamic needs to support me? So it's BS. The nation state of Israel is not Jewish. They are not a Jewish. It's not a person. It is a nation. So if you want to support Jews, if you are a Jewish religion or Jewish heritage through blood or through marriage or something like that, I understand that. But the nation state is not the religion, and they've monopolized on that confounding of words to confuse people. And I hate seeing in David Knight's chat and other people's chat, people get really defensive or really pro hate on Israel because of Jewish. I'm like, it has nothing to do with being Jewish, yo. Nothing.
Well, I agree. And people that hate America, I mean, it has nothing to do with me, you, or anything. It's the governments. The government's in, lots of times I get into an Uber and it's usually the driver is an immigrant. Mm-hmm. I've met people from Somalia. I've met people from freaking, of course, Mexico and stuff like that. But, and usually when I'll start talking to you guys, say, we'll start discussing just like regular people. And then I get into, they agree. We're treated to hate each other. It's mm-hmm. not us. It's not me and the guy driving the car, but our governments, for whatever reason, that we have to hate each other and we have to kill each other and whatever.
Yeah, but within 5 minutes of you and this other person talking, within 5 minutes, you could tell, hey, I like you, you like me. Whatever our past is our past,
Well, that's what it usually comes down to. I'll tell people, we're the same. We both go to work to support our families.
He's there.
All our families, otherwise we wouldn't be working. And, and that's what it comes down to, is us as a person. Not as I don't give a shit what religion you are or whatever, or we're,
I don't like the illegal immigrant thing because our country's getting bombarded with people.
Right. I have absolutely.
I don't think we should go out and kill everybody that doesn't look like us white people. No, I shouldn't have said that live on camera.
What? It's not live.
Well, and putting a religion or something on political action is like saying, and this would be horrible. I really want people to think about this. If every single thing that the United States did, or any of our allied nations that are Christian nations, or raised from Christianity, if you took everything they did that was bad and said that's because of Christians, Christianity would look pretty evil. We would look like the terrorists that we want to ban from the country because ban the Muslims because they're terror. I mean, think about that. When any other country, especially Christian nation, does something, it's on the nation. But whenever there's something that happens in Israel, there's something that happens in an Islamic nation, it's because they're a Jew or they're Islam. That you really got to separate the two. And I understand it is a little hard with Islamic because they have an Islamic state, which is, with Sharia law and stuff. So that's a little bit muddled, but really they're also hiding behind it. It's just people that want to be in power.
Yeah, that's what my nephew did 3 or 4 tours in Afghanistan. And same thing there. We're taught that they're nothing but, mercenaries. They're garbage.
Not true.
But he's over there for 3 or 4 tours, and he's like, they're just like us. They go to work, they want to play video games, go to the bar, and hang out with their families. That's all they want to do. They're just tired of all the political crap that the upper regions are doing.
Yep, but the rest of the world is ignorant, so we get sold bill of goods from the mass media. that they're animals basically. And you're right,
Yeah,
just like us. And Afghanistan was one of the first Middle Eastern countries that had women in college, and they call it university over there. They had a really good textile industry. They were thriving. They were probably doing better than the United States at some point. Yeah, we kind of messed all that up, didn't we?
Until we sent them back to the Stone Age.
Yeah,
we've done that with everything. So I think there's that list of 7 countries, Arab countries that we were, came out after 9/11 that we were going to take care of, so to speak, invade, whatever. I think Iran is the last one. And I think this is some kind of kickoff. They're hoping to get Iran involved in this.
I was telling my wife a long time ago when we were in all these wars that, all these soldiers are getting killed, and they're coming back and they're having, their bodies are coming off in the airplanes. And then a couple of years later, all of a sudden that war just kind of died off. And I told her, I said, all those young soldiers died for nothing.
Yeah.
We have no business being the world's police force.
Well, I'm afraid now. I mean, let's face it. We're messing around, proxy war with Russia. At one time, Russia and the United States, that was like the end of the world, kind of bad. But we're messing around over there with Russia via Ukraine. We've already got tensions with China because of Taiwan, and that's been escalating. Remember when I think it was Pelosi was going to go over there for a visit, and then she had to catch COVID, so she wouldn't go.
No, she did it. She did go to Taiwan.
Did she? I thought she caught COVID and didn't go.
Yeah, she went to one, and then she wanted to go back again, and then she was like, they told her no. You aren't going back.
But now we got
about the same time that Thor got caught in the house with the hammers there.
Yeah. That was to take attention off the hammer. Is that what it was?
Thor is that guy, the senator from Pennsylvania. What's his name?
Santos?
Fetterman.
Oh, Fetterman. Yeah.
That's Thor. That's Thor.
Back to the point, if I could finish real quick.
Yeah.
We're messing around in Ukraine because of the proxy war with Russia, which has just broke us. It's broke our grandchildren, our grandchildren's children. We got tensions on the rise with China, and that could pop off at any time with Taiwan. Now Iran's always been a sticky situation for us. But we're looking at a proxy war with Iran, and then we got North Korea. That's another wild card. What happens? Are we going to fight? Like we're putting people in the military with lipstick and high heels, right? And I'm not talking about the kind that are allowed to have long hair. These are guys that have a swinging thing, and they're pretending to be women. This is who we're going to send off to war, and we want to go against 4 of the largest nations as far as when it comes to how scary they are and tough they are. We're going to do it all at once when we have nothing. We have gutted our military. We fed our entire population soy for 20 years, and we're going to send them off. This is suicide.
We used to just keep them on submarines.
Yeah.
My nephew is disgusted with the way they've dumbed down and redone the Green Beret training, and how they let everybody in. It's super easy, and he's like, I wouldn't trust any of these just to carry my weapon, never mind carry me out of battle.
Yeah.
Well, and when I was when you were in the 80s, there were Navy SEALs, but you didn't know who they were.
No,
they never. Now every day, everybody you see on CNN, I am a Navy SEAL. Oh, bullshit. Come on now.
Right.
If you are, then you're an asshole for even telling people that you are.
Because how are you supposed to go in and around and be incognito?
Remember back then, you couldn't even have tattoos.
No, you couldn't have tattoos. You weren't, half the time, they didn't even wear anything uniform-wise.
And you couldn't have tattoos. You couldn't have birthmarks or anything like that, because then you could be identified.
Right. So, I remember when they had the first time they had a part of I forget the guy's name, but he was a member of SEAL Team 6 that supposedly killed Osama bin Laden.
The ones that got killed to cover it up after, and the helicopter got shot down.
Oh, is that what happened? Yeah. Okay. But I imagine that. Imagine if you're in SEAL Team 6 and you don't tell nobody nothing. I mean, you got to go home and your wife's like, "How was your day, honey?" And you're like, "I was fine." You know, you just went through the ringer and you can't say nothing about it. I mean, they got to have like special therapists or something to talk to get that stuff. But imagine all the other people that were part of SEAL Team 6. Look at this asshole. You know, he's up there taking the credit.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, you got to be kidding me. Can I believe this or not? You know,
my childhood friend's brother-in-law was in SEAL Team 6, and he lost his life in the helicopter.
Oh, really?
No, I'm not kidding you.
No, I believe you. I'm just saying, really.
But yet he was the kind of man that would never say that he was in SEAL Team 6.
Yep.
Right. That's what I'm getting at. That had to piss off everybody else that was part of that, or even had been a SEAL. Look at this asshole getting out there, you know, using all of our secret stuff we do, and then touting himself, elevating yourself on their backs. I saw that. I was like, I doubt this guy was actually in SEAL Team 6, but nobody's going to come up and call him out. You know, they're not that kind of people.
Jason Workman. That was his name, Jason Workman. I'll put it out there for the airwaves. Jason Workman.
Save that for remember that for Veterans Day too when we do that episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a family member who's in the Navy who actually just got deployed to be or will be working with a SEAL team. Don't know 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, whatever, as IT. You know, supporting them through computers and stuff like that, but has to go through all the training too. But so here's a little something too that a lot of people. I just found this out the other day. Did you know that Israel started Hamas?
Yeah,
I've heard that. I don't know that for myself for a fact. I've just been hearing that.
Yeah, and I so here's a little clip for us all to enjoy.
The United
Palestinian militant group Hamas has carried out brutal acts of terror against Israeli civilians, and Israeli and American leaders are always keen to tell us how dangerous and evil Hamas is.
The inhumanity of Hamas.
I have no sympathy for Hamas.
That keep shelling Israel with thousands of rockets and mortar shells.
What if I told you that Israel helped create Hamas? Officially, Hamas, which is the acronym for an Arabic phrase meaning Islamic Resistance Movement, was founded in 1987 at the start of the first Palestinian Intifada, or uprising against the Israeli occupation. But its roots were planted much earlier. The Hamas founder, Sheikh Ahmed Yassin, was a half-blind, disabled Palestinian cleric and member of the Muslim Brotherhood. The Brotherhood had been repressed by the Egyptians in Gaza prior to 1967, but once the Israelis invaded and occupied the Strip, they didn't just turn a blind eye to these Islamists, they encouraged them. See, the Israelis, especially right-wing Israelis, wanted to undermine the power of the dominant Palestinian political force at that time, the nationalist PLO, at the heart of which was the secular Fatah party of Yasser Arafat, their bête noire.
بغصن الزيتون في يدي وببندقية الثائر في يدي.
By empowering Sheikh Yassin and the Muslim Brotherhood, Israeli leaders thought they could divide and rule the occupied Palestinians, play them off against each other, secular nationalists against religious Islamists. So in 1978, when Yassin wanted to officially register his Islamic Association, which was basically the precursor to Hamas, the Israelis were only too keen to help. Yassin built and grew a network of Islamist social institutions across Gaza, including schools and clubs and mosques, and Israel helped fund some of those projects. Most American politicians have no clue about any of this, although the former Republican Congressman Ron Paul once made this point on the floor of the House.
Hamas was encouraged and really started by Israel because they wanted Hamas to counteract Yasser Arafat.
Arafat himself told an Italian newspaper, quote, Hamas is a creature of Israel. He even claimed that former Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin admitted as much to him, calling it a fatal error. Now, you might be wondering, why should I believe mad Ron Paul or the famously shady Yasser Arafat? Well, you don't have to. You can believe top Israeli and US officials who've basically owned up to all this. Brigadier Yitzhak Segev, for example, who was the Israeli military governor in Gaza, and later told a New York Times reporter that he helped finance the Islamic movement. The Israeli government gave me a budget, he said, and the military government gives to the mosques. Colonel David Hakam, who worked in Gaza in the late 1980s as an Arab affairs expert in the Israeli military, has admitted that the original sin was Israeli support for Yassin in the late 70s. But at the time, he has argued, nobody thought about the possible results. Well, Avner Cohen did. Cohen was the Israeli official who was responsible for religious affairs in Gaza for more than 2 decades, and who now says, quote, Hamas, to my great regret, is Israel's creation. Yeah, Cohen's words. He actually wrote an official report to his superiors in the mid-1980s, warning them not to play divide and rule in the occupied territories and calling on Israel to, quote, break up this monster before this reality jumps in our face. But no one else on the Israeli side really took the possibility of blowback seriously at that time. They never do they? Hamas.
But I mean, that's perfect proof of what talking about is they always got to divide people. And this time it kicked them in the ass. I mean, I'm not talking just Israel, but, governments in general. Keep people divided and play them against each other.
Well, didn't we do that with Osama, too?
We've done that with everybody. I mean, it's just...
Muammar Gaddafi?
Yeah.
Would it surprise you to say that the Taliban were the creation of the U.S.?
No.
No. Nothing would surprise me anymore. I'm telling you.
It wouldn't be surprised because it was probably one of those things where, well, if we set up the Taliban to disrupt everything, though, it's one of those things that you thought was good till it ran out of control. And
well, I mean, so let's look at the conspiracy theory of 9/11 that we let it happen.
Yep.
And that begs the question. That begs the question: were the Taliban ever really our enemies?
Probably not.
Or were they an asset? Were they a CIA asset that? Hey, we need a war over here right now, and we've done business together, right? We trained you. We're going to activate you now. So
here's
do this thing.
Fighters. Take down some planes.
Yeah, so that gets us into 20 years of feeding the military-industrial complex, and I don't know, just something to think about. I'm not making any claims here, just something to think about. And this same situation could be similar, where you create that demon. You go, and I talked about it on David's show, you go overseas looking for enemies to destroy. Well, when you can't find any, you just create them.
And this goes to the one thing I didn't look up. I didn't do a lot of research because I didn't have a lot of time, but I wish I looked up that piece of shit, Lindsey Graham, and his thing when he sat down with Zelensky and told him how proud he was that they were killing Russians. Yeah. And now we got to just let them bomb the shit out of Gaza. Teach those people. What a piece of shit.
Oh, Lady Lindsey can take his stiletto high heels and go on the front lines himself.
Yeah. When I see you out there, Miss Graham, I'll believe it, okay? Freaking sack of shit.
That's the truth. Put them out there on the front line and see how fast they run and cry.
Yep.
They can chip a nail.
Yeah. Hey, politicians only start the war.
You ain't even got to go that far. Just give them a cot, right? Give them a cot that you got, and just make them put the cot. Don't even sleep on the cot. Just make them put it together. Because the damn thing will drive them. They didn't get the strength or the patience to put one to actually get it to, especially one that's been stored for a long time that needs to stretch a little bit. They won't be able to even put their cot together. That's a military thing. Anybody military that's had to sleep on an old cot knows how you got to use like another pry bar to get the damn end thing on,
It's a WWE move to get it.
You got to make the corners fit. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like impossible. It's impossible. I just always never put the end one on. I just let the thing sag and then my feet hang off of that. That's what I did.
I'm sorry, Angus. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, sir.
I have not given up on life and whatnot, but I've given up on, like, any day I expect something to happen. It's like almost every other day I hear a emergency thing on the phone or the radio, and it's like this is just a test. So they got everybody with the tests, so nobody's gonna care anymore.
Yeah, October 4th was the day that they wanted to see how far they can get. I think, and then they're just trust me. I think that was preparation for what's coming.
I got something to say on what John said. If you watch the mainstream media, especially Fox News, you got the dong emergency alert, emergency. We got this just in. It's emergency alert. Everything is an emergency alert right now, over and over and over again. And they got the flashing lights and they got the blinking. This just in emergency. I mean, somebody could have dropped a cat down a well. It's this just in from Indiana. We've got a cat down a well. We've got so and so on the scene. They're conditioning us to always expect that.
Constantly breaking news, and you're expecting that the way it used to be was the space shuttle crash, or this happened, there was a terrorist attack. Now it's Lady Lindsay sucked the cream filling out of a Twinkie without breaking a sweat.
All right, Angus.
Everything is a freaking news alert. It's like, will you just stop?
But you see, I don't want to hear him anymore because I don't pay attention to him. And I think that's what they want.
I agree.
I think that's they've started to see that the race thing is losing traction because more people are talking to each other and finding out that it's not working. So we've now got to go to the constant emergencies to keep everybody in line or off kilter.
Which begs my question now is also, if we're got this going on with Israel, because now this is the big thing, what's happening in Ukraine? Is that just done? They done laundering money, or are they doing something more devious over there?
Well, people are getting a little bit fed up with Ukraine.
Yeah, I thought about that today too. People are tired of hearing about this crap, and we're starting to catch on. You guys are just laundering a shitload of money. Oh, we better change everybody's focus. Hey,
they need to have
what are you doing?
They need to have like a goldprice.org, or the debtclock.org. That's like a ticker that keeps track of real-time stuff and see how many people have a certain person's flag on their profile. So, because I guarantee you the Ukraine flag, there's like, everyone's supporting Ukraine. It's coming down now. So, okay, we need Israel. Now everyone's putting Israel, the Star of David or something on their profile, which the Star of David has nothing to do with the nation state of Israel. It's a freaking nation state. Would you quit conflating Jewish and a freaking state? I'm sorry. I had to say it. I'm so tired. I've been turning the news off lately because it's all about Jew. Whichever way you go, it's about Jew. It's not a Jewish. It's not a person. It's a nation state. People need to get that through their freaking head and split the two, because you can't talk about it without being hated on for being anti-Semitic. But it's not about that.
So my question is, and I've thought about this time, and I've talked about other people about it, is being Jewish a religion or a race? Because they consider it a race. So how can I convert to Judaism if I don't have any Jewish DNA?
Yeah, and that's the brilliance. That's the brilliance of the nation state of Israel, is that they've mingled themselves into that where you can't talk about it. You can't criticize it. And I'm not coming from a point of view that says I don't like what Israel's doing. I really don't give a shit what you're doing. I don't want to be part of it. That's your freaking fight. Okay. I don't know enough about it. Maybe if I got myself spun up on it, I would, but I'm not going to go so far as to say that that's that I hate Jews, because I don't. That's a religion. That's a race. It's a religion. And supposedly it's a nation state now. I don't know. This is what they've done. It's like I said, if you would consider America, if you would tie that into Christianity, which is kind of difficult because Christianity's got a broad spectrum of different religions.
Yes.
But if you were to say that, you can't say that what America did is bad because you're coming down on Christians. You don't see that anywhere in the world. Nobody says that that's because Christians are so evil, or Christians are trying to rule the world, or we got a little bag of Christian gold around our neck, That's from South Park, the Jew gold thing. But it just I'm sorry, it irritates the hell out of me, and this is why you haven't seen me speak on it much, because I'm not going to fall into that trap.
No,
I
You're
won't.
exactly right. You can't, because then you start getting labeled, and it makes it easier for them to come after you. I mean, like DeSantis, you can't say anything bad about Israel or Jews in Florida, really, because Israel is not a person. Like you said, it's a country.
Right. And I think Tiger.
No, Israel is a state.
Sorry, John.
It's not a country.
Yeah. But
no, Tiger broke it down really well. Tiger
between a country and a state.
Yeah, unfortunately, people are stupid. That's the problem. People are stupid. They watch the square box that says breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. Be scared, be scared. The threat meter's on red. That's why we are where we are.
Anybody else got anything last words they want to say about this?
Sorry for the rant, Angus, man. Sorry for the rant.
That's what it's all about, man. Actually, I'm being a little bit more controlled than I thought I was going to be, because I was really pissed off. I've been pissed off about this all week. But one other thing I learned, well, not learned, but I heard, was that being a Catholic is not considered being a Christian.
No, it's not.
Where did that come from? I've never heard that before. It's like,
I haven't either. Did you happen to catch Tiger's show Wednesday?
No,
his regular show. They did the religion thing, and that was actually quite a good show. They're going to start doing the different religions and breaking down those barriers and those misconceptions. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of them, especially with some of the religions we're not familiar with, like Buddhism and maybe Islam, stuff like that. It was a good thing, because we can't do that. We can't throw a nation into a lump group of a religion, because that makes you hate your neighbor. And I think that's the goal, is to make them, to get us to fight within, but it has nothing to do with religion. Anyway, I'm done. Sorry.
I was born and raised Catholic. I did not ever know that before. I always thought I am what I am.
I don't know if that's somebody, I've heard it a couple times. Raul says he knows it. But I had never heard that before, and it just kind of, I was like, wow, really? Because I thought it was the same, or being, part of Christianity.
It started the same. So actually, the Catholic was first, and then I guess it got hijacked by the Pope. So it was just, they went in a different direction. So then Christianity went off on its own, because the Catholics have their own Bible, their own set of things.
Oh, I should have known this, being Catholic.
Wait, the Catholics? I thought the Catholics used the King James Bible.
No. When I moved down south, I've never heard of the King James version until I moved down south.
That's why they, if you're seriously into Catholicism, they don't even want you reading the Bible.
Well, I guess I'm a serious Catholic.
Well, that actually jives with the schooling I had. I got it's actually not philosophy, religion, anything. It was an art history class. And that was kind of the thing back in the day, was the church had to tell you what the word of God was. And because people didn't read, it wasn't necessary to read for your daily life. And then Martin Luther started the Lutheran Church. He was the one that pushed for people to read, so they could read it for themselves and get away from being reliant on the church. And the reason it was in art history classes, because a lot of those artists that did like the Sistine Chapel and stuff like that, and the stained glass things, they knew the truth and how people were being manipulated by the leaders of the church. So they put the real story in the stained glass and the art, so people could look at the pictures and see the real story. There was also some hidden stuff. You can get into that. Maybe someday we can get into hidden messages in art.
I could talk to you right now about that in the stained glass. It's like they held orbs, like they were like from other planets, like they already knew about aliens back then.
You never know.
Let's do that the next time. Save that.
Well, that was why they hated Martin Luther so much, because he encouraged people to learn to read, so they can read the Bible for themselves and make their own interpretation, get their own discernment. And you didn't have to rely on somebody who just sucked off the tit of the public.
Which allows you to question authority.
Exactly. Bingo. And I'm not a Lutheran guy. I'm just I was raised Southern Baptist. I'm just saying that was part of our actual history. So
my question is, I don't follow Catholicism anymore, but I heard the new Pope is more radical. Does he like wear his hat backwards or off to one side? Like,
I actually, when I see this,
He actually pushed aliens.
when I see this Pope,
Regular aliens. He's
what's that, John?
this Pope does not look like a Pope as far as when I was growing up as a kid.
No,
does not act like. Maybe I shouldn't say look, but act like a Pope.
No, he doesn't act. He's a player.
can I say something real quick? Just an observation. Us people who are not Catholic, we look at the papism or the popism or whatever it's called. We look at that as Catholic.
Right.
And then we look at Catholic people like they fall under that. But my experience from people I know who are Catholic, they don't follow that crap. And if you go watch Tiger's show, you'll see that they don't believe in this Pope. They don't fall under that. They have their religion, but they don't. I think it's more closer to maybe what Catholic should be or used to be.
I'll tell you right now how I am, again, because I was raised Catholic. So, and then in high school, you start going to confirmation class and all this. And you get into these things. And one day they say, hey, so what is the church? Well, it's the building. The church has nothing to do with the building. It's the people inside. You can have the church anywhere. It can be in your garage. Then the next time I go to church, they're complaining because they don't have enough money to redo the roof. Hey, you people are behind on, this and that. And I went to another church, a Catholic church, for a what do you call it? The first communion. Yeah. The first communion for my nieces. And it was in a gymnasium because they hadn't finished building the church. And that priest got on the people. He said, we're way behind on our money. It's like, wait a minute. One time you're telling me the church is the people, not the building. If Citibank wants to open up a new bank in my neighborhood, they go to the corporate office, get the money, and open one. Why don't you go to the freaking Vatican, get the goddamn money, and open the goddamn church?
Well,
that's a great question.
I believe it or not, I know two people very close who are Catholics, and the churches they go to demand to see W-2s. Because they want to make sure.
I'm going to bleep this out, but you can go fuck yourself, Father. I'm sorry. I'll bleep that out later.
Can we separate the people who are Catholic from the Catholic organization?
Yeah.
And you can say the same thing about Christianity. Can we separate Christianity from America's actions overseas? And now bring that into the topic. Can we separate out the word Jew? Okay, the religion of Jew or the heritage of Jew from what Israel is doing or involved in. I would just like to do that because I don't really want to talk about it because I'm going to be attacked, and I'm not going to waste my time arguing with some freaking troll that don't know shit from Shinola and waste my time. I'm not going to do it. So I've refrained from talking about it because people are just stupid and ignorant, and they're just looking for an edge to get in to put their propaganda out there. Israel's a nation state, period. They're a country like any other country. You can argue over whether we should recognize it or not. That's not the problem. Right now, we got people dying. We got missiles flying off. We got buildings falling down. People are actually dying. So can we put this bullshit aside about, oh, you're anti-Semitic because you don't like war? Come on, man. Come on, man.
You're also ignoring the Muslims that live in Israel.
Exactly. Right. Nobody talks about that, do they, Raul?
Yeah. It's not just Jews that live there. It's a lot of different.
So
there's Christians, Christians that live there as well. There's all kinds of people.
Before we roll an intermission, let me just say this.
There's an intermission?
Yes, about Catholicism. So, in Catholics, priests can't marry.
Don't drop the soap.
Yeah, they can't have sex. All right, so they can't marry. So my parents were heavily involved in the Catholic Church for a few years. And they joined this organization was called Call to Action, which was to move the church forward. And I knew one of the priests there, when I went to church, like I said, in high school, nice guy. And so they wanted to move it forward so priests could marry and this and that. And my father tells me one day, he says, well, we were excommunicated from the church. I said, what does that mean?
Right. I've always wondered that.
Well, he says,
you're not allowed back in.
No.
Really?
No.
They take away your salvation, don't they?
No, you couldn't take communion, but you could go to church. I said, of course, because they want your donation weekly. They don't want to give that up, but you can't take communion because you're excommunicated. What a crock of shit. I mean,
so we're going to let you pay for the essential service, but not receive
that's
the
like, that's like trying to get my daughter baptized as a Catholic. In order to get my daughter baptized, you had to give them $2,000 in order to save your daughter's soul.
Well, John the Baptist must have been rich then out there at the river.
He must have.
But the priest I knew when I was in high school going to confirmation class, he ended up leaving. He stopped being, he became a deacon, and I don't know if it was, I don't think he stayed in the Catholic Church, but so he could get married. He said one time he had told us he went to the Vatican City, and was disgusted by the wealth. The gold, everything is gold, this and that. And you go outside and there's people freaking starving.
Yeah.
But inside those walls, it's, it's pristine and everything, all the wealth that they have there, but they're not helping anybody with it.
Well,
so
I
gave up. He said, that's it, I'm done.
Before we go to break, because I know the topic will probably change, I did want to mention something that the experience of having to pay for a baptism and stuff like that was within the church, but that is not the church, because the church isn't the building or the infrastructure of command and power. It is the people that make it up. So I would encourage anyone that if you've seen that, if that happened to you as a Catholic, that doesn't mean that all Catholics are bad. It just means those people. Yeah. And you see it in Christian, all forms of Christianity, where churches are bad. Sometimes you're going to get a bad one. A lot of them are bad. And you've seen this during COVID, big time during COVID, where some would fall into what the state said and they said, okay, we're going to shut down. We're going to do this. And some said, no, we're not going to shut down. Well, why would they be controlled at all? Well, there's that 501c3 tax exempt status, right? So some of these churches are playing ball with the government. Now, is that indicative or representative of that religion? No, it's not. It's representative of their business. Mm-hmm. So you have to separate the two out. Is it a business or is it like legit? And that goes back to the Israel thing. Israel is not a Jewish nation state. It is just a nation state. Separate the Jew out of it. Because if I talk about Israel in a negative way, I'm anti-Semitic. If I support Israel, I'm a Zionist. There is no winning in that argument if we keep it that way. We have to understand what it is. Just like with the church, we have to understand what it is. There are some churches that are just bad. So you get out of that church and you go do a new one, or you start your own, or just do a Bible study. That's how you do it. That's how you get that control out of your life. Anyway, I'm done. You
have to remember, the church isn't the building; it's the people.
But so as we head into intermission here, let me just leave you with this. So this priest and this rabbi, they sit down at a bar. They're just having club soda and whatever. And the rabbi looks at the priest. He goes, "So I hear you can't get married." The priest says, "Yes, this is true." He goes, "So you've never had sex?" The priest says, "That is true." And the rabbi says, "Huh?" He says, "That's a shame." And the priest goes to the rabbi. He goes, "Well, I hear you can't eat ham." He goes, "He says, I'll tell you what, that's better than it's better. It's not better than sex." I screwed it up. I'm sorry. I got to come back to it. I'm going to edit that out. But so he says, all right, here's another one. One last one. So this, confirmation or confession in the Catholic Church. Right. So this priest is hearing confessions. He's in the confessional. John, don't get offended by this. So he's in the confessional, and this guy comes in and he goes, "Bless me, Father, for I have sinned." He goes, "What's your sin?" He goes, I use the Lord's name in vain." He goes, "Okay, that's 3 Hail Marys." And the priest is sitting there going, "Man, I really got to go to use the bathroom. I got to go use the bathroom. I got to use the bathroom." And he goes, "Oh, son of a bitch." So finally he opens the door and he looks out and there's the janitor. He says, "Hey, come here." And the janitor comes and says, "What can I do, Father?" He goes, "I need you to come in here and hear confessions while I go to the bathroom." The janitor says, "I can't do this." He says, "Oh yeah, you can. Come in here." So he comes in and he goes, "But what do I do when people tell me there's sins?" He goes, "Right here on the wall, there's a list of every sin. just go over and it tells you what the penance is. She goes, okay, Father. So the first guy comes up and he goes, bless me, Father, for I have sinned. The janitor says, what is your sin, my son? He says, I had unadulterated thoughts about another woman other than my wife. That's 5 Hail Marys. Thank you, Father. And the guy leaves. Next guy comes in. He goes, what is your sin, my son? He goes, oh, he says, I stole candy from the store. And the guy looks and goes, oh, that's 3 Hail Marys. Thank you, Father. So the next guy comes in. He goes, what's your sin, my son? He goes, I had anal sex with another man. And the guy starts looking on the chart. And he's like, son of a bitch, it's not on here. He starts to sweat and he's panicking. And he opens the door and he sees the altar boy. And he goes, hey, kid, come here. And the kid comes over. He goes, what does the father give for anal sex? He goes, usually 2 candy bars and a ride in a Cadillac.
I got one before we go to break. I got one. That's good. So this young man, 18, 19 years old, he goes into confession. He says, hey, forgive me, Father, I've sinned. And hey, what's the nature of your sin? And he says, well, I slept with a woman out of wedlock. And he says, well, who was it? I promised, Father, I promised her I wouldn't say. I swore to God I can't break that. He's like, was it Mary Lou? And he says, no, Father, but I can't. Was it Betty? No, Father, I promised I wouldn't say. Well, was it Donna? I said, no, Father, I please don't ask me to tell you. I promised I wouldn't say. He says, all right, do 10 Hail Marys and all that good stuff. So then the guy comes out of the confessional booth. He goes and sits back down, and his buddies say, what'd you get? He says, I got 10 Hail Marys and 3 good leads.
Classic. All right, so we'll take a little break here, and we're going to listen to a little Spirit Shaker cover, Metallica's "For Whom the Bell Tolls," followed by the Ace of Spades, covered by Metallica. All right, by a Spirit Shaker from Motorhead. See you gentlemen on the other side, right?
All right.
You guys, because I did it the last episode. I had to go back in and edit all that out. So
yeah,
not a big deal. I apologize.
Sorry for the rant, man. It's just this shit irritates me.
And no, that's why I wanted to do that about that, because it irritates me, and that's
it allows you to get it off your chest.
That's what Raul and I were talking about while we were taking a little break there. It's like, you know, I wanted to do this so we all get a break from this stuff, but also we can blow off some steam, because it just pisses me off so much. What the hell, we're paying the price for some bullshit assholes and that are elected, whatever you want to call it, who are supposed to be working for us or ordained, have nothing to do with us, or
they're ordained, right? And we got people on, you know, me being a Christian from the Baptist faith is how I grew up, where they beat the truth into you. You know, it's like, you do this or you're going to hell, boy. You should want to do what Christ says because you want to be with God, not because you want to avoid hell. And that is
avoid the beating.
Yeah, avoid the beating. Yeah, you know, I mean, look at the Catholic Church smacking you with a ruler on your knuckles, right?
Yardstick.
Yeah. We got people, and people that listen to the Knights of the Storm might get pissed at me for that. And because we got some people, we got Levi, which is Narrow Way, Narrow Gate Ministries on Rumble. He will put in what he believes to be the truth, but he doesn't beat people down for it. I appreciate what he does because he believes it to be the truth, and he just says this is the truth, but he doesn't like degrade people if they don't believe that. And and then Brian Taylor, he's another great guy. He's been on the show before. He says there's only one truth. You could play around all day, and I agree. There is only one truth. I just don't know that I got it right. I believe what I believe. I tend to believe what Brian Taylor believes, but I'm not going to say that someone else's truth is wrong and beat them into submission. I'm just going to pray on it. It comes down to a personal relationship with God. That's what it comes down to.
Yep.
If people can't understand that and they say, well, my personal relationship with God has to be your relationship. No, I'm not listening. I'm not listening. And then when it comes to like stuff where people are actually dying and they say, well, it's because you didn't believe in my truth. Well, no, you're the one causing death. So shut the F up. And let's, I don't know. Just.
But no,
look at their works and their actions.
Right. You know what? That's right. Look at their actions, Raul. You're right. My grandson's going nuts right now. I popped out and he wants peepaw time. So
I don't
hear anything banging on the door. That's him.
Oh, we can
I don't agree with everything you
now.
guys
And then next time we'll cover Bigfoot and all kinds of stuff. Bigfoot.
Oh, no. I don't have to go. It's just if you hear any banging, that's him. He's got pizza.
No, I mean, I'm good with it. In the future, we're at 8:30. I don't know what it is in the past.
Hey, can you ask when we go back? Can you ask about the eclipse because it didn't happen here?
I got some text.
Was that fake? Was it a fake thing?
No, it was supposed to happen, but I was watching for it all day, and I
just remembered you said to get hit with a yardstick.
Yeah.
Yeah, none tried to do that to me once. I said, that's not a yardstick. I'll show you a yardstick.
And you know what? The whole measurement thing is why I don't let my wife order blinds.
Oh, like I said here before, every tape measure in my house starts at 3 inches.
Because this is a foot, right?
And I prefer to use the metric system. It's 120 millimeters.
You need to put like a PG-13 thing up when you
almost came up.
Hey, Angus, when you went to New York City, did you spend the night there or did you drive home?
No, sir. No, sir. I don't have that kind of money.
How much was it? Like $400 and something?
Oh, yeah, they were looking like 400. Cheapest I could find was like $350 or something. But yeah, no, we just 2-hour drive in, drove in, went 2-hour drive back. We actually stayed in a hotel that night in Connecticut just because we decided to. But
I can understand that, and it's kind of romantic if you don't mind me saying so.
Hey, can I ask you something?
I'm glad you're excited about it, John.
Raul's back there crying right now.
No, I almost had mics coming out the nose.
Oh, there you go. The nose thing again.
Can I ask you something about Connecticut?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I lived there. Oh crap! I was like 8 or 9 years old. We moved there, and we lived in New Haven with family members for about a year. That was during Hurricane Gloria, by the way. That was a nasty storm, but no one said it was climate change back then, right? It was just a storm.
It was a storm.
Yeah, it was a nasty one too, really bad. But we lived in New Haven, really nice house. These were like super rich folks. And then we moved out to Waterford, and Waterford was
right by the Speed Bowl.
Yeah, but what I noticed back then, it was extremely rural. Like there was a lot of rural areas, and even going, we went to where's the big mall at? We talked to.
Yeah, we were talking about it, Crystal Mall.
Yeah,
it's actually in Waterford. It's right on the edge of Waterford.
Oh well, there's another one we went to in a bigger city. It took us like an hour and a half to get there. But anyway, what I noticed, it was a really, really rural, a lot of country areas and stuff. Then you would get into the city, and it was like city, and then country. Is it homogenized into like one big suburb now, or what is it like?
No, it's still kind of the same way.
Is it? That's good to hear. Yeah. Because there was some really good countryside there. Not much for beaches as far as I see.
No, you know, people say, "Oh, I'm going to the beach." Where?
Right.
You know, down in Hammonasset. Well, that's the Long Island Sound. It's New York cesspool.
Right.
You want to go to the beach, you got to go to Rhode Island, where it's open water. That is not going and swimming in somebody's toilet paper. I'm sorry, but that's not the beach, man.
So are people that live near a harbor that own a boat, are they still really snobbish?
Oh, God.
Really?
Yeah, my brother was one of them.
Yeah.
My mom dated a guy. He dated a guy for a while. And he was.
Your uncle dated a guy? What?
No, my mom dated a guy.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, and he had a boat, and it was actually a nice boat. You know, it had a bar and everything. It was, you could live on the damn thing.
Oh.
And everything.
Yeah, but he was such a
They had a
freaking
disco.
douchebag. He was a douchebag from hell, but he had money, you know, and I guess he kind of wooed my mom in for a while, and then she's like, "This guy's a douchebag," so she dumped him. But he was super snobbish.
Yeah, you get that way with people around Greenwich and all that stuff, where all the money, you know, these are people that probably.
I think that's where he was from.
Yeah,
I think that's where he's from.
So these are people that work on Wall Street that go in, you know, they live in Connecticut, they go into the city. The Kennedys had places in Greenwich and all that stuff, and it's
so
when you
this
get
guy
out this way.
This guy had a bar on his boat, like a small bar. You can sit 3 or 4 people in front of it. You know, it's a little, personal bar. And he went on and on. And me and my brother are little kids. We're sitting there. He got us like the most expensive ice cream in the world. You know, something that Nancy Pelosi would eat. Really good ice cream, by the way. And we're eating the ice cream. You could tell he was just trying to make us happy to impress the mom, you know. And he's telling us about his bar. His bar was from his high school. And I wish I could remember the name of it. It was some historic crap, but it was the gym floor when they tore it up. He purchased a piece of it for like
all the hardwood.
Yeah, and he built a bar out of it. And he's sitting there telling us, and at the time I'm a little kid. I'm like, this doesn't mean anything to me, man. You know, it's like the ice cream is awesome. Thanks for the hour-long story on your gym floor that you made that slam dunk or whatever. But I don't care.
That Kennedy sweated on.
Yeah. But it was all about him, you know, and I think that's when my mom dumped him, you know, all about him and his success and his money and his boat.
But that's and so, yeah, we're in Eastern Connecticut. We're on the east side of the Connecticut River, out towards, we're closer to Rhode Island, and it's more farmland, you know. Well, it used to be really farmland.
Well, that's why it took you 2 hours to drive to New York City.
Yeah. So when I moved there in 1976, I know you came down from Enfield. So my family bought a house here, and it was on a horse farm. You know, they sold off some of the land, and there was 3,000 people was the population. Now it's like, I think 50.
Yeah.
In Coventry, you know, they fought forever to keep, you know, stores out, you know, corporate stores. We had all the local stuff. Now we have right down the street from me, a Dunkin' Donuts, Walgreens, a CVS, which drove out all the local businesses. You know, the mom and pop pharmacy, the mom and pop donut shop, and all that, all gone. You know, and now they got more property for sale, which I'm sure they want to put in a Stop and Shop to drive out the local grocery store and all that shit. But
you know, my uncle, because he's the one that we kind of piggybacked on when we moved out there. It was my uncle's wife, her parents, her mom and her stepdad, that we moved into in Waterford. In New Haven. We moved into their house when we got settled out there, and he come across a stretch of land between two kind of like suburbia areas that was just rural, and he could have got that land really cheap. It was a little bit swampy, but he thought that, you know, this is like in a prime location, and he wanted to get the money. And I think he even asked, potentially he asked the rich folks that we knew, the family, if he could get the money to buy the land and sit on it. And they're like, oh, it's crap land. Why would you buy that? You know, it was like a year later that Walmart purchased that, a portion of that land. And then of course the McDonald's came in, and then everything came in around the Walmart. He could have been like a multi-millionaire from that purchase in a matter of a couple of years. But it makes me wonder, when you're talking about this stuff comes into these small towns and they drive out the local businesses, is that naturally happening, or is that like by design to push us into that consolidation of
15-minute city?
15-minute city. That's where I was going with it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, and COVID was perfect to kill a lot of those small businesses because they forced them to close while the Walmarts and the Targets stayed open.
Yeah. And when you look at tax incentive wise, you look at these big box consolidation kind of things, they get all the tax breaks, whereas the mom and pops get scrutinized over every penny they spend, every employee they have. My dad, he ran his own consulting business with what do you call it, programming. You know, he wanted to do that on the side and make more money and maybe go into work for himself. And he wanted to help me out because I was struggling. And he knew that I got a logical brain and a computer background. So he's like, I'll teach you how to code and things like that. But you know what? If he hired me, even temporarily, it would have killed his little side hustle, because they basically don't make it fair for a person to start a business. They tax you into the ground. He would have had to get workman's comp, just having one employee.
Yeah, getting the insurance and all that stuff.
Yeah, insurance, workman's comp, all that other stuff. It would have killed him. So it really. But do you think that Walmart and Lowe's and Home Depot, you think they deal with that shit?
Nope.
No. They look at Amazon. Amazon ran intentionally because of the investors. They ran negative for years. They ran long enough to put everybody out of business, were not profitable, and all their losses they pushed off as a tax break for what they did make. So they didn't even pay any freaking taxes. They just pushed it off to the next year, the next year, the next year as a loss. And then once they have market share, they picked everything up and they run everything. Now you start to see your annual fees go up. 2-day delivery, maybe it's 2-day delivery. Your Amazon Prime for the movie. Well, that was Netflix that did that. We used to be able to get the DVD and you could stream it. Well, now it's two separate things. They come back later once they make your life really nice with everything's all in one place.
And once they monopolize it and get rid of all the other stuff, then they can come back and say, well,
yep.
Guess what? And I've had that. You were just mentioning it, and it turned on a light in my head. We have Amazon Prime. We have for a while, and there was something my wife and I wanted to watch, and I went to Amazon Prime, and it was there, and they wanted to charge me for it. It was a movie.
Yes.
I'm like, wait a minute! I'm already paying for freaking Prime.
Oh, I
was pissed enough. I wanted to see this, and I'm like, okay, I paid for it, and then found out it was on Peacock TV or some bullshit, which is another episode because I want to get into how they're telling us they're making all this stuff better for us. We took away your antenna TV and all this, and now we give you this, and we're antenna TV was fucking free, man. Now we're going to charge you $50 a month for this to stream it because streaming is so much better than cable. Bullshit. I fucking spent.
Well, here's another thing.
The goddamn circle on my fucking TV go around you. I'm sorry.
So here's another thing.
I'm going to be doing a lot of editing tomorrow. But you motherfuckers, I mean, don't give me this bullshit.
How much is your bill, Angus?
Go ahead, John. Sorry.
How much is your bill, Angus?
Huh?
Angus, how much for your bill every month? How much does your house pay?
When I finally got out of cable, and I told them, and I called them a couple times, and they reduced my rate since 2007. I called them in 2021, and they go, "Oh, we can take care of that." Well, wait a minute. I've been a fucking customer for 14 years, and now you decide you can do something because I called you. It was $290 a month.
Holy smokes.
That's internet and, this and that. But I'm like, this is bullshit. I said, I'm done with this. Oh, you're grandfathered in. What do you mean I'm grandfathered in? So they reduced it down to like $150. Within a year, it was back to $290. Yep. And I called them and I said, I'm done. I am fucking done. All I want is your internet. That's all I want.
Well, here's what kills me is that, we go back to the days of AM radio. Let's start at the beginning. AM radio. They don't know who was listening. They didn't have a customer base, right? They just
even with the old school TV.
Yeah, exactly. Until you get your Nielsen network or whatever, where they put boxes. But anyway, they made their money off advertising. And that was the appeal of cable. The appeal of cable was you can pay a lot more money and then you'll have no advertising. You know, you can watch shows straight through. You can watch stuff that you normally have to pay to go to the theater for, or wait a year or 2 years for it to come out on VHS in the video rental industry, right? You couldn't get the movie a month after it just hit the box office, but with cable you can, you know. But when they started advertising commercials on cable, I was like, what is this? I thought we were paying the premium service to avoid these commercials, because I have free shit out here that I gotta deal with commercials anyway. Why would I pay you to deal with commercials? Well, now they've done away with that, the free shit, right? You got to get that digital antenna, which sucks, by the way. We did that the entire time we were in Georgia. We didn't have cable at all.
It doesn't suck though, because you get 5 or 6 channels sometimes.
It sucks when you're not close to a metropolitan area, because you don't get shit. And if there's so much as a cloud outside, it gets all blocky and freezes. So
it's the same thing with streaming or satellite or analog cable was better. Then they switched to digital cable. Told you this is the greatest thing since whenever. The freaking wind blew and the goddamn thing was worth a shit. Yep. You know, but you're charging me more money and you're telling me this is so much better than it used to be. Go
so my
fuck
wife,
yourself.
If
Again,
my wife,
I'm sorry, bleep yourself, mother bleepers.
If my wife got up off the couch, if we're watching something on that digital, you know, bunny ears, and I even bought the one that's like powered, like you plug it in and it gets more reception. She would walk in the kitchen to make a thing of popcorn or get a drink or whatever.
It would get fuzzy.
It freezes. Yeah. Oh, it freezes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, duck your head, hon. She'd duck her head and it would come back on. because she was standing between me and Savannah. You know, Savannah's was 45 minutes away. That's where the stations were coming out of, was Savannah. Digital has its problems. Analog gets grainy, it gets staticky, whatever, but it still runs. That's your AM type transmission, even your FM type transmission. But when you go to digital FM, you know, if you lose a bit of the byte, you'll lose the whole block. Okay, and that's when you get the blockiness.
So like I said, you know, we got rid of cable, kept the internet. So you need for everything to work and blah, blah, blah. And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to get Sling. I am a car guy. I like to watch NASCAR. I know people think it's bullshit, but I don't watch all the races, but I like to catch up on them.
Do you have a noose in your garage?
No. I have the pointy water cups for the cooler that look like KKK hats. But no, so it's I'm like, you know, so okay, we'll go with Sling because Sling has all the channels that I like to watch. And Raul comes over. We have a yearly thing. We watch the Daytona 500. It goes on to 1 o'clock in the morning or whatever a couple times, and that's our thing. But you know, there's certain races I like to see. I don't have to see the whole thing, but whatever. So I'm watching one last week as an example. I'm watching the last 10 laps, and I'm watching, and it's a close race, and I start getting the freaking circle. Are you freaking kidding me? So now I got to back out, come back in. I'm paying for this. I'm paying $50 a month for you to give me shit. And I don't even know who to complain to. Do I complain to the Wi-Fi company? Do I complain to the freaking Sling? You can't go after anybody, you know, and they don't give a shit. You know what the people supplying my internet will tell me? Oh, you can upgrade.
Oh, yeah. So the upgrade.
Yeah. Again. Fudge you mother fudging son of a dog.
Well, it's like here when my wife hooked up, you know, she asked when she moved here and I was still in Georgia trying to sell the house and stuff, still in the Army and, you know, doing my final stuff. She's like, can we get cable here? We've been without cable for 5 years. I was like, all right, see what they got. So she gets a cable and internet combo. And the internet company and cable company were actually separate, but they had like a contract together. And it sucked because the cable we have is a streaming service. You know, they'll sell you this, they'll sell you the login. That's what they sell you, is the login. But the bandwidth that's used was piggybacked on a separate service, which was the internet. So I got here and I'm like, what? Why can't I stream? Why can't I do my show without the buffering and stuff like that? And it turns out that they were in there watching TV.
Yep.
And the TV that we're paying ungodly amounts of money for every month is actually requires the internet that I'm paying a separate bill for.
Yep.
It's like, why am I paying for a login? You think the service would come with the bandwidth that comes with the service, right? Nope. You gotta pay for one service, and then there's another service built on top of it. But they don't tell you that. They don't tell you that one is dependent on the other. So that's why they try to bundle it. And we ended up getting a different internet. So we kept the cable. It's direct TV streaming, which I kind of like it because you can DVR some stuff and things like that. Still a little expensive for me. So we'll probably cancel it once our premium rates go away. But I just think that's kind of dirty how they sell you something, but it requires to use something else that you're already paying for. That's really dirty.
No, and that's what they do. That's
very, very slick.
Yeah.
But
maybe I should cancel my internet and then sue. Maybe I should cancel my internet, then sue DirecTV. It's like my stuff doesn't work and I'm paying every month. Why doesn't it work? Well, you have cable. Well, I'm paying for service. How come I don't have service? Maybe I should use that argument.
I want a refund. My last month's bill, they were out of service for 12 hours out of the month. And it's been well documented. I want a refund for that. And they don't want to hear it. You know?
Oh, they fight for that, John. When I worked, so you all know that I was in the Army twice, right? I had a 5-year break between my first time and second time. And I stayed in Okinawa and I worked at the cable company on base. And we quite often had outages because, it's a military base. They want to take the power down to do whatever upgrades or whatever. They just take it down. They don't even tell anybody. So people would call in and they're like, why is my internet not working? Why is my TV not working? And they would demand a refund for that day or two they were without service. And man, you would not believe how hard that cable company fought not to give that little bit $2 refund. It's insane. It's like, just give them the $2 freaking, man. If you fight it, I understand
it's more than $2. Hey, Angus.
Yes, sir.
I seen my wife takes care of all the bills here in the house. And my daughter's capability of, streaming our TV and stuff like that. But I seen the bill that my wife pays, and it was $302 last month.
302.
Yes.
It's criminal. It's criminal. So
and then they sell they make you watch commercials.
Yeah.
And that's they get money off the commercials. That was the appeal, and I said that earlier. The appeal of cable and paying the extra money if you were rich, in our neighborhood that was rich or country, whatever you call it. That was the appeal of it. So why do we watch commercials? And why do I watch a show and then I got some crap that comes on with some spinning guy, a promo for this show or that show that takes up 3/4 of my freaking screen? Yeah, like why am I seeing this when I pay you?
That really pisses me off with that stuff now. The advertisements running at the bottom while you're trying to watch something. It's like, come on, really. But my wife and I, we bought this house in the end of 2007. We moved in December 2007. The woman that owned the house did not have cable. So I had to call, cable company. Not only I'm my new customer, you have to run a cable to my house. Okay, we'll do that. That's free. Okay, so we got the same package. They just transferred it over, for whatever reason, HBO. And then again, this time streaming wasn't a big thing. Wasn't even, I don't think it was around then. But so we got their cable boxes. And like I said, so over the years, then they went from analog to digital cable. But they never changed our boxes. We had 3 boxes in the house. They never changed them. They never changed my freaking modem for the freaking computer when they upgraded the Wi-Fi and all this. So when I canceled it, I'm like, you've been a member since 2007. Why would you want to cancel? So I said, I'm canceling. And they said, okay, but you have to take your stuff and bring it to their store, which sells cell phones. So I packed it all up and I brought it to the store. I said, here, I'm turning this stuff in. The guy looks and goes, holy crap, this shit belongs in the Smithsonian. I go, you're right. You've been charging me and upgrading, but you don't upgrade the system. So what good does it do me? But you don't.
I found out the hard way. You have to ask them. All you got to do is ask them, and they'll be like, "Yeah, you need a new box," because most of the stuff is like $5 a month per box. You're renting it.
Yeah,
but they're providing me a service I'm already paying for, and if you're upgrading me, why should I have to ask you? You should tell me. I am bringing, and they actually did it once they upgraded our wireless connection, and they sent me a new modem. And I actually still have the old one sitting on the shelf over here. I didn't turn it back in. It's useless, but I mean,
that's the thing.
If I'm paying you, I should not have to ask you for anything.
Well, what John said is right. They charge you a monthly fee for modem or box rental, and I used to get onto the kids because I got them all in Colorado. They all had a TV in the room. That was the one thing that I gave them was TV in the room, and we had there were you get the what do you call it, the Netflix and all that stuff. I had them all decked out. Of course, they didn't use it. I'm like, I'm paying $10 a month for that box in your room, and you don't use it, so I'm going to just send it back. Oh, no, don't get rid of my cable. But you don't use it. The thing is that after that, we started buying the boxes because when you look at the cost of the box, whether it's an internet modem or the cable box, it's 110. I think now they've upped it to around $200 per box. But if you look at, you're going to be at a house for 4 or 5 years or whatever, and you're paying that $10 a month or $20 a month or whatever the fee is, you're going to pay for that box like 4 times over, and they're not going to replace it. They're not. You're going to be stuck with it. And first off, why would you charge me for a device to receive a system, a service that I'm already paying for? Should I not be able to get that service? Should you not provide that for me? Because I'm paying you for that service, but now I got to pay an additional fee to be able to use that service. That's stupid. And that kind of falls in line with me having to pay for internet to use my DirecTV here. I have to pay for one service. Let me finish real quick, John. So what happened before I moved here was that we were on CenturyLink, and I never had a problem with CenturyLink. When they were CenturyLink, they got taken over by Brightspeed. So about 50% of their businesses or whatever across the nation are now Brightspeed, which is a horrible company to work for. And they wanted me to turn in a box or pay a couple $100 for a modem that I already paid $110 for. I bought it. My wife and I started just buying the modems straight out because we understood if we're going to be at a place for 2 years or more, it's more economically smart to just buy the modem. You pay it outright. You don't pay that monthly fee. So when they took it over, they didn't have a record of me buying it, and they wanted me to turn it in, or they were going to charge me $200. And I was like, "Go F yourself, man." I was like, "You send me a shipping label, you send me this and that and the other. Maybe I'll send it back." And they never did. So, and they never charged me. So that's good.
Sorry about that. But no, they get away with flat out crime. Go ahead, John.
Oh, I just wanted to say maybe 6 or 8 months ago, my cable company, Spectrum, they sent me a new modem. And I didn't feel like hooking it up, so I let it sit in a box for 3 months. And then one day I get online going to watch David Knight, and then it says you have to change your box that was sent to you in the mail. And that was it, man. They cut me off. Either I changed the box or they cut me off. So I went in the house and I didn't want to do it because it's like a bunch of wires and this and that, but I did it. I was like, man, why do they want me to change the box?
And that's
I'm gonna say it's probably so they can track what you're watching better.
Oh, I was gonna go there. Smart meters.
I opted out on the smart meters, and they're pissed off about that. Every month, somebody has to come up and look at my meter.
I want you to think about that though, John. What you just said. You're going to go watch David Knight. You're going to get into your daily routine. Your daily routine was interrupted, and that was what forced you to comply with what they wanted you to do. That's going to fall into every aspect of our life, whether it's banking, shopping, cashless society, a car that's monitored and can be shut down by the government, that they can track how much carbon you're using. This is all they've gotten us into a comfort zone, made things convenient. And as they start saying, well, this little thing, we're going to change this and you have to comply. Otherwise, you just have to not, would you not want to watch David Knight, not have the internet? Yeah. That's a false choice, because you can always go to a different internet service provider or just not have internet at all. I mean, there's always a choice, but they're making it very difficult.
Everything is a Trojan horse.
Yeah.
They're giving you this, they're giving you that, and they're not giving it to you. You're paying for it. And this, like I said, this is so much better than what you had. But in the meantime, they're backdooring you and monitoring everything that you're doing. If you have a smart TV, smart oven, whatever, smart thermostat where they can adjust it. All those people in Colorado last year that didn't know that they could adjust their thermostat or get locked out of it so they can't turn the temperature up.
It's like the Amazon thing. We're going to give you everything you want right in the short term. And then once we've got it in place, then we can start yanking it away from you and piece by piece get it to where we want it.
It's like Hansel and Gretel. Come get the candy until you're in the oven, and then the door shut.
It's like getting married. Ooh, look what's in the oven. Ooh. Oh, sorry, it's shut down now. Oh, son of a...
It's Epstein
Where's
pie.
G.I. Joe? Where's my Kung Fu grip when I need it?
Man, this is a topic that we didn't even talk about getting into. That's kind of cool.
No, that's what. So here's the other thing. I mean, you talk about your smart TVs, your smartphones. So my dad, I don't know if you guys had Heathkit out in your area. John, you probably know Heathkit from New York, but you would buy this stuff. You would build your own TV. You get the picture tube, you get all the tube, and you assemble the whole thing. And these freaking things will last 30, 40 years. And that's back when your TV was just not something that hung on the wall. It was furniture.
It was furniture, yes.
You get a nice cabinet for it and everything. Now it's just a piece of shit that hangs on your wall. So like I said, these TVs would last 30, 40 years. Maybe you got to go change a tube. You go to Radio Shack, put it on the tube tester. Okay, I need to change this one. Buy a new tube, put it in. Now, if you get 3 years out of your freaking TV, you're lucky. And so they're disposable. And then they tell you that we need to make everything sustainable, except for all your electronics that are a piece of shit. Refrigerators, your stove, take it all to the freaking dump. But you need to eat farm raised fucking shrimp so we can make a sustainable life.
No. We gotta eat the bugs.
Eat the bugs. Well, that's coming. But
I had some
Texas catfish raised in China eating big shit.
I had some Texas barbecued cockroaches tonight, man. It was great.
Was it?
Yeah, I gotta go.
Was it spicy sauce or was it just mild?
Well, it's Texas, so it wasn't that hot. I'm just kidding, Texans.
It's like that North Carolina barbecue.
Yeah.
Well, I think, I don't know, but North Carolina barbecue is better than Texas.
No.
I started the argument already. Look at that.
It comes out of a juice box.
You gotta poke it through. That's the most satisfying part.
North Carolina barbecue.
Yeah.
You guys are
I like Alaskan barbecue.
No, I don't like the Eastern North Carolina. Eastern North Carolina is vinegar based. I like the ketchup. I like the ketchup and whatever.
Well, that's called ketchup.
It's more of what do you call it? Molasses based or whatever. Come on, Jason, help me out.
Can I ask you, John? Do you put sauce on a steak, like A1 sauce or something like that?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, and I know my wife doesn't watch any of these shows. The only time I put sauce, and I like the what sauce is it's around here somewhere?
Heinz 57.
Yeah, Heinz 57.
I do it. No, that's the.
Yeah.
You look like a Heinz 57 guy. It's a New York.
If a steak is really good, you don't put no sauce on it.
That's what I was gonna say.
Right.
If you got to put sauce on a steak, you're eating the wrong steak.
Heinz 57 is
exactly.
Heinz 57 is John Kerry's special sauce, and it's just freaking ketchup with a little bit of pepper in it. That's all it is. John Kerry.
When you put it on, make sure you do a hockey stick. You know, for the
you
graft.
got to do it over the skull and bones.
Oh yeah, skull and bones that works too. Yeah.
Oh, but the Heinz 57 is good for chicken and steak and whatever.
It's spicy
ketchup. And everything, Jason. And
AI,
everything.
baby. AI sauce is the best.
A lemon and pepper on chicken. You don't need anything else. Trust me. Bake a chicken with lemon and pepper on it. It's amazing. Really, really good.
Welcome to the gourmet hour.
My wife accused me of screwing up Jell-O, so I'm out.
Hey, I'm going to step out real quick. Martha Stewart's going to take over for me.
Hey, what was that woman's name? The old woman that
Julia Childs.
Yes, thank you.
You know, I saw her eating crawfish one day, and she was snapping them. She goes, "Ooh, you have to suck the head," and that was it. I was no excitement left in my lower regions for months.
So my dad's passed away, but he had a girlfriend. They never got married, but they were together for since I was 7 years old. So they were kind of common law married. Anyway, she was Taiwanese, and she cooked traditional Taiwan food. And she made us fish one day, and she cooks the whole fish. You're not like us Americans.
The eyes and everything.
Oh, the head, eyes, everything. She cooked it, and we were eating the fish, and she grabbed the head with chopsticks and literally she cracked the freaking head with chopsticks, and then she starts kissing it. I'm like, and I'm a little kid, man. I'm like maybe 8 or 9 at the time. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I suck out a brain. It's like, I was like, what? She said, "Ooh, the brain's so good." You know?
Dad, she's a zombie.
Oh, my grandson just busted in. You see him? Let me
JJ.
myself real quick.
He wanted to see me.
I sucked on the brain of a fish. Okay. I mean, I spent a lot of time. I mean, I grew up in South Brooklyn near the creek and the ocean. But no, I've never sucked out a brain out of a fish.
Wait a minute. The ocean. You're talking Long Island Sound again, John. That's not an ocean.
No. In Brooklyn, it was near Coney Island, Sheepshead Bay. That's where I originally grew up. So it was the ocean over there. But we had those, I think I've mentioned this before, horseshoe crabs, you know, those things that look prehistoric.
Right?
Yeah, they're prehistoric, I think.
I think most
they're from prehistoric times. They're not prehistoric.
Say a little man for me. Tell Uncle John said hello.
You know, I locked the door in here. I lock the door in here, and sometimes he'll pop the door just right and unlocks. And I mean, he's a smart kid, man. He's figured things out mechanically. I think he's going to be a mechanic or an engineer.
Yeah. I've seen videos on how cats jump up and open up doors.
Yeah. He's not a cat, John. Just saying, he's not a cat.
Has everything going good? But is everything's yes or no?
You froze there for a minute, John. We got a good picture of your beer, though. Was that Bush?
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, I should clean out my big mug for Oktoberfest.
Is that George W. Bush?
You know. Yeah. Hey, Angus, Angus, I'm not saying you drink, but if you were to stop in a bar or somewhere in an airport somewhere, how much would a regular drink be somewhere?
You know, that's a funny thing. So I was at a place the other day, and I ordered some food. I sat down. It was a hotel bar, which are usually more expensive. So I ordered a drink while I was waiting for my food. It was $7.50 for a Jack and Coke. I've been to places, DC.
That's not bad, actually.
$15 for a freaking Jack and Coke.
$20. Yep.
I mean, are you kidding me? I could go buy a bottle. So anyway, we're at a bar. So this old NFL player and Audi, forgive me for telling this. No, I'm not going to tell it. I'll tell it another day. I'm going to
No,
tell
I
it
was
to
going to
Audi.
say,
Where's the
so
Audi
you
on
walked
here?
into a bar and you saw.
Okay, so I walk into a
"Why the
bar.
lunch please?"
Well, it wasn't me. It was another guy. He went into his bar, didn't realize it was a gay bar, and he walked in and he ordered a beer and he sat down and he said, "Man, I got to go to the men's room." So he walks into the men's room and he comes running back out screaming. The bartender says, "What's the matter? What's the matter?" He goes, "I went in there." He says, "There's a guy at the urinal with his pants all the way down by his ankles. There's another guy behind him with his pants down by his ankles doing stuff to him." He says, "And behind him is another guy with his pants down by his ankles doing stuff to that guy." He goes, "What did the guy in the middle look like?" He said, "I don't know." He said, he had long blonde hair. He goes, "Yeah, he's lucky at cards too."
That's so wrong in so many ways. Still funny.
All right, one more, then I'm going to call it a night. So Superman.
No, I'm going to say, like,
go ahead.
I don't want to hang out next to you on. I don't want to hang out next to you on an airplane ride.
No, I'm usually pretty quiet. So Superman comes walking into the superhero bar. Spider-Man's sitting there and he looks over and freaking Superman, his hair is all muffed up. He's got a black eye. His cape's all torn to shit. He goes, "What the hell happened to you?" He goes, he says, "Let me tell you." He gets a beer and he sits down. And he says, "Today I'm flying along over Gotham City." He says, "I look down at the Chrysler building with my supervision." And he goes, "And I see Wonder Woman completely naked, spread eagle on top of the Chrysler building." So he goes, "Really?" He goes, "What did you do?" He goes, "Well," he goes, "I pulled out my super long johns and I went into a super dive." He goes, Spider-Man goes, "Yeah, I bet she was surprised." He goes, "Yeah, her and the Invisible Man."
Oh, man. I've never heard that one before.
I got a good one for Veterans Day. So
you're good for
really
telling. Yeah. Oh man, I could never tell a good joke. I always get it screwed up.
All right, gents.
I'm waiting for the punchline, John. I thought that was a joke coming.
Oh no. I've been told I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. You know.
Who said that? Is that a tool?
Duh. So, what are your plans for the rest of the night, guys? It's 9:11 p.m. Eastern time.
I was waiting to get into the second topic, which we never got into, but
yeah, we're gonna save that for next time because
okay,
I had it set up and then we got off track, and I'm like, that's fine. So I'll save it for next time because I kind of wanted to talk about the useless tools and shit we pay for now that is just ridiculous.
I think we covered that with cable, didn't we?
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And it's like, man, no wonder people are just freaking frustrated, and it's robbery, the transfer of wealth.
You know,
Absolutely.
it's
during COVID, it got huge.
It's insult to injury, you know, that you can enslave people, and this is like, it's not like we're from two different species where one is predatory on the other. These are people that just think they're better, and they've figured out how to get into that system. And you know, we look at, you know, people that get kicked out of that system and they get thrown under the bus. There's nothing special about them. Nothing special about them at all. But they figured out a way.
Makes them. No, go ahead, finish. I'm
sorry. Oh, they figured out a way to enslave us, and they've done that for, you know, a century or more. But they've also figured out how we could pay for our own enslavement and beg for it. Yeah. That's the sad part.
And you know how that happened? Because they were deified. You know, everybody. Mm-hmm. Oh, look how great Bill Gates is. Oh, he's a Bill genius. Gates is Elon Musk. He's another genius.
Oh my God! Bezos, don't get me started. Those are the two I loathe the most. Bill Gates is a two-time college dropout. He didn't invent Microsoft. He didn't invent Windows. He didn't invent DOS. The guy stole. He was set up. He was put into place by
IBM.
Yes, he's a freaking idiot, and now he's the world's doctor. I'm sorry, just Gates is a trigger for me. It is a trigger for me because
but that's where it becomes the fault of not us in general, but of the people, because people deify these fucking assholes with like TMZ TV and all that stuff. You know, oh, look how great this guy is. He's got all this money. He must be a genius. And then people just accept everything that they tell you as gospel.
Like LeBron James.
LeBron James. There's another piece of shit.
And you know, the sad part is these people, they get everything that they want in life because they're given this by the powers that be put them in that position to deify them, as you said. But eventually, at some point, and on a short term, we could look at Sam Bankman-Fried, right? Fried, whatever.
And he knows that part, right? What's his name? Bankman. Yeah. That's not an accident. I'm telling you.
When your usefulness is done, and that's why they continue to get more and more and more evil, because they know when their usefulness is done that they're out. They're out. Everything that they've lied for, cheated for, stole for is gone. Their lifestyle is gone. So they have to keep playing the game. And you know, if they don't play the game, or if you're like Sam Bankman-Fried, which was just an idiot, he was a freaking idiot. There's nothing genius about him. He's he wears flip-flops to a freaking interview.
Well, and like I was saying,
idiot.
I didn't know who he was until he got in trouble, and then I see his pictures. Like, people gave this freaking guy his money without even listening to him. It's like, the dude doesn't even look like the kind of person that should be handling anybody's money. He shouldn't be
what's sad about him?
Mickey Mouse machine.
What's sad about him, and I got to do more research into it, but I've kind of looked into him because I'm still wondering why the guy's not in prison and why the money hasn't been returned.
Bankman-Fried.
Yeah, Fried. Yes,
Fried.
No, it was like his uncle or something. It was some family member that actually is the brains behind the BS. That through his own
Look
family.
how much money he was giving to the DNC.
Yeah. It was a scam, and you know that's how dirty these people are, that they want to maintain their lifestyle, that they will sell out their entire family to keep a lifestyle. You know, put me in a freaking cabin in the woods in the middle of nowhere and I'm happy. I do not need caviar and champagne and stuff to survive. That's not what happiness is. I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent.
But then you don't have that status.
Guys, I'll talk to you later if you don't mind.
All right, John, we're about ready to wrap it up, my friend.
Well, one of my daughters that I don't see too much is over, so I want to at least say hello.
Say hi for us, John.
Yeah, little Mo. Love you guys.
Take care, brother.
Be careful.
See you soon. Take care, Jason.
All right, are we done?
Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up. I gotta go eat.
Okay. All right. Well, take care. And this was fun. I mean, it was a kind of a spontaneous episode. I love it.
Yeah, I'll do a little bit of editing. I'm not going to edit a whole bunch of it, I'll tell you that.
Just some of the swears.
Yeah, not even that. Take care, Jason. Talk to you soon.
It was confirmed you hate me because you and David are like too smart for me right there. I'm telling
Oh,
you.
really?
I don't know. What are you on Zoom with David Knight?
It's no, I forget what
Tinder.
it is he uses, but it man, the quality kind of sucks on my end. I don't know if that's something
That's
I'm
what I was
doing.
thinking. Like you were like really close to that.
Yeah,
Usually, you were like this.
Hi, David. This is Jason.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking the same thing. Maybe I should scoot my chair way back. Weird, but it's he uses something different. The first time that I went on there, he used Brave Talk, which is what number 6 uses. He uses Brave Talk because he doesn't use StreamYard. He uses OBS Studio, and you gotta basically do it in a different screen, and then you gotta share a piece of that, and it's really fucking hard. But
if everybody looks at the top right-hand corner of the Brady Bunch section.
No,
I'm sorry, left-hand corner. Not the
top
right-hand.
left. Oh yeah, I see where we're recording.
He's frozen.
Sorry, I can edit stuff.
Why do you keep freezing, Lord Raul?
Because he's cold.
And why do I even call him Lord Raul?
You can call him LR.
Hey, thanks for setting up that interview with the doc. That was really cool. Really smart dude. And I reached out to David to see if he'll go on David's show.
Hey, between the four of us here, Tiger always seems to get the really good guests, but you are starting to move up there, Jason. I'm telling you, you are neck and neck with Tiger. Well, you need to.
How about me? I got you.
It's not.
You got me. You're in the garbage dump in Brooklyn right now.
Don't tell me you're one of those freaking podcast whores and you'll go on anybody's show.
Oh, there goes Raul.
Where'd you go?
Impossible. What? Lord Raul took one drink and he fell down. I think it was Mike's Hard Lemonade. Mike's Hard Lemonade, and he fell down.
Who the hell is Mike anyway? Like, why is this lemonade so hard? Is he like a cholo?
Are you okay there, Jason?
What do you mean?
Do you need to splash some water on your face and wake up?
I did just wake up. I did wake up. I took a nap and set the alarm for the wrong day. And yeah, here I am. I literally just woke up.
Mike's Hard Lemonade is actually Nova Scotia.
If I slept, I would never go back to bed. I'd be awake all night.
Really? You don't take like an hour's nap in the day or something like that?
I try not to.
Oh, I do a lot. I'll take a nap midday. It's something I started doing the last couple of years. But I do sometimes like not wake up.
Let's get the feedback. Microphone.
You know, I probably should take a leak though, because I really do have to go. Old man problems.
Anyway.
Don't bring back any food after you take a piss. I don't want to touch it.
Trouser food.
Yeah.
Where did I see that from? Trouser food. Was that from
Thieves?
Right, John?
You stuff a steak down your pants and walk out the store.
Hey, I'll be right back. I'm gonna take a leak though and get ready. I know we're recording already, but
no, we're not recording.
Yeah, sorry, I slept over, man. Like
don't worry about it.
My grandson making a bunch of noise, I wouldn't have woke up for probably another hour or so. So I'll be right back.
Not a problem. We'll be here.
I did not know you were recording, so this is so cool. I want to talk about anything and nothing at the same time.
Go for it.
I want to be like, Jerry Seinfeld. And Seinfeld was born and raised in he lived out in Long Island. He's from New York City. But what anyway? I called up. I'm having a tooth problem. I called up a dentist yesterday. Not yesterday, 2 days ago, and I talked to their whoever answers their phones, and they said, "Come on in at 11:30," and I'm like, "It's 11:22 in the morning. You want me there in 8 minutes?" And I said, "I might be 10 minutes late because I'm not really that far away." She said, "That's fine, honey. You just come on in. We'll be fine with you." So I get in there. Now the girl, the receptionist, has me all on the computer screen. And then she tells me that that person on the phone should have never told you to come in. I'm like, now I'm starting to get, I have a toothache, and now I'm really starting to get aggravated. I'm like, I just sped over here, I'm like, I'm going to charge you $100 for my time. I actually said that. And she didn't care for that, But I'm going to a different dentist tomorrow. I didn't care for that one. It just gave me bad vibes, as Guard would say, I'm like, so I'm going to a different one.
Oh, my, remember the buddy who gave me the I Love Uranus shirt?
Mm-hmm.
He found out I was going on a podcast. So he's like, is there any shot of you wearing that shirt on the podcast? I was like, that was the first episode.
You missed it. Well, it's still in.
But he's like, you actually wore that on the podcast? And I was like, yeah.
There you go, John, just for you.
Jerky boys. Johnny spends a lot of time in the bathroom.
You mean Jason?
Hello?
Hello?
Are you dental malpractice?
Yes. Where did you get our number?
I went to dentist. I went for tooth decay. They did awful thing. He ripped my teeth and my gum. I cannot talk. I cannot eat. He cursed me and hit me while I'm sleeping.
He hit you.
And then he put me under sedation. I wake up, my pants unbuttoned. My teeth gum is dripping blood. I cannot even blow bubbles when I chew gum, when I drive a cab.
I don't play.
You help me. They kept cursing me. I went there, I'm crying. They cursed me, threw me out. Oh, God. You got to help me.
Which dentist is this?
This man named Mr. Rocco or Bronx. Mr. Rocco, Louis Rocco.
Louis Rocco?
He's yes, I go there for a cab. I stop cab 2:30. I go in. He say sit down. Then he punch my teeth. I'm bleeding, and then my pants unbuttoned, and then they curse me.
Okay. Give me your number. Can you give me your number?
Why don't you pull your stuff over here and then you're right.
555-8591.
555-3390.
Yes. It's okay. Then I wake up, my pants unbuttoned.
Okay.
But why they do this thing? They don't. What? Why? I'm new in this country, and then this is the treatment by people.
Okay. What is your name?
My name is Ali Kamal.
Ali Kamal. Ali Kamal.
Why are you screaming?
The my teeth and punch them. I can't make even chew popcorn, nothing. You got to help me, Allah. I pray to Allah that somebody help me. Please help me. This man must be stopped.
Did you call another firm?
No, I call you.
Where did you get a number?
From newspaper. Okay.
I love the
too
Jerky
much
Boys.
pain. Too much pain.
Okay. Bye.
Classic.
You kicked my dog. You kicked my dog.
Hey, my family calls me anti-dental. You know, that comes from Seinfeld. That's one of the Seinfeld shows.
My wife doesn't let me watch Seinfeld. I love that show.
Concentration when you pause.
Do I look more awake
That's
now?
my wife.
I ate my pickle
All right.
and I had a smoke. And
He had a pickle. Say something, Angus. He had a pickle.
A kosher pickle?
Was it sour or dill?
It's the dill. I like the dill.
Yeah. It was a baby gherkin. All right, ready? You know we're already recording anyway,
yeah,
but I'll
we're
edit all that out.
I do not understand why Chick-fil-A puts 2 slices of pickle on a chicken sandwich.
Why not?
I don't know. It's the first time I ever had pickle on a chicken sandwich.
Good though, right?
I know. I liked it.
Was it that Popeyes does that? Don't they put pickles on theirs? And Popeyes is a really good. You get the spicy. It's really good going in.
Chicken sandwich. I've had their chicken, but not their sandwich.
Oh, it's good going in. I won't say much about it coming out, but
There you go. Those are jalapenos, not pickles. So you have to have ice cream with that.
Yeah,
You
right.
wake up in the next morning, you go, "Come on, ice cream."
Hey, Angus, I have to ask you, since you're on the road all the time, do you actually try to eat healthy?
Yes, which is hard. Typically, I don't eat lunch because it's fast food. You know, I don't stop much.
Would you? We went to a Mexican restaurant on Wednesday, and he had huevos rancheros. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and right, because that's not fast food. That was actually food. So usually, if I'm traveling by myself, you know, I'm just on the road. I don't stop. I bring like breakfast bars and stuff with me. I used to do that, you know, the Burger King or whatever. Just grab a sandwich, and man, you got to find a rest stop, and you're sitting in the car and not moving all day. I'll do something else. There was actually a place in Texas. They do salads, like drive-through. And they're good. You know, they're not like a bag salad, but it's hard to eat a salad while you're driving, like eating a bowl of cereal. But yeah, typically I try to eat healthy or better. Not to say. All right.
You know, we were eating a lot better here. Well, back in Georgia, and even as far back as in Colorado, we were trying to eat healthy, and it's getting expensive to eat healthy. It really is. It's just so much easier to buy that processed crap and just throw it in the oven. Even if you cook at home, people are eating garbage. It's tough.
I remember I like salads, and this goes back years back when the kids were younger, but you know, make them kind of pain in the ass. And then I saw bag salad, and it's like, oh, okay, this saves me time. Well, they taste like freaking plastic.
They do.
You know, and it's like, done. They're not eating this. I want the real stuff. Even my kids said that. They're like, you know, we can cut it up if you really want. You get the lettuce and stuff, we'll cut it up. But
well, I've heard that iceberg lettuce isn't really good for you. So when I do salads, if I make my own now, I try to get the spinach. Spinach is really good if you make a salad with that.
We do that too with spinach. I like romaine lettuce personally, but all right. So
with iceberg lettuce now, tell me, oh goodness.
You know, the Titanic hit iceberg lettuce.
Yeah. It's just the lettuce. I guess it's the stuff that comes in the head that you get in the store. You just slice it up. Yeah, it's just it's all water.
The head of lettuce, where romaine is that the stalks.
Yeah.
The big leaves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that's a Greek salad right there with the romaine, right?
Caesar salad. A lot of them use it now.
Yeah, Caesar salad.
But
Caesar.
you know, one thing I noticed is Raul can attest to this is when you used to make a Caesar salad with romaine lettuce, you really had to separate the leaves and wash them to get the dirt off. Now you don't have that problem because you could wash the crap out of it and still have dirt on the damn leaves. I don't know how they're growing it now, but I never have that issue anymore. It's like, well, that's weird. How did they stop the dirt? And then I start thinking, is it GMO or are they hydroponically grown in a greenhouse so they're not in dirt?
Well, maybe it's whatever coating they're putting on it to make it look greener in the store.
Yeah, but it is like when you would separate them, you'd actually have to wash each leaf individually.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Now I can just split it and just take it and wash it, and there's no dirt. It's like, it's a little weird. Hydroponics,
maybe, like you said, which is not a good thing because David had that guy on that talked about the nutritionally dense foods. Yep. And they did the hydroponics, and it looked great. It was all huge, but it tasted bland, and there wasn't as much nutrients in it. And, you know, Dr. LaGuardia was talking about the soil being depleted. And that's kind of what happens if you hydroponically grow stuff. It'll grow good, but does it have the same content? You know, are you getting the bang for the buck for every bite? You know, guess it depends on what you put in your hydroponics, right?
Yeah, because you're not pulling all the minerals you need from the ground.
Right.
Oh, by the way, you guys did a great job with that interview both times.
He is a cool dude. I'm telling you. I wrote him back this afternoon. He said he would go on David Knight's show, which I think would be awesome because he'll get more viewers there, and maybe he can sell some more books and get a little bit of income, but also get the information out to more people. And I wrote David, and as we're on the show tonight, I'll look and see if David hit me back yet. Well, it's Karen actually that does that. But
Karen was the one that told me what kind of tie that David was wearing at one.
You cheater.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, should I do the hat game? I've got my wife collects hats, and I have a lot of hats. Maybe I should do the hat game.
What? I'll put my Brooklyn hat on. How you doing? You know, I need a slice of pizza with that. I don't know.
Only if you put it on backwards. All right. So, go ahead, John.
Angus, you're the host. You're the hostess with the mostest.
Well, thank you, son.
You know, do you have any whipped cream to go with that, or do you want to talk about anything else?
You want some fries to go with my shake?
You know, the doctor was talking to you, Angus, like he knew you.
Yeah, we know each other.
And how come you're not a patient of his?
I don't know him. I just know him through the podcast. But being from Connecticut in the same, he's one town over. We know a lot of the same stuff.
Now, hey, Guard is from Massachusetts, right? That's where he's at.
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire. Okay, I was thinking Massachusetts because Chris is from Massachusetts. That's right.
Yes, Chris is. Yeah.
I was thinking if Guard has this mold issue,
you can go to him.
Yeah, go see him. You know, I might hit Guard up about that.
Well, you know, New Hampshire.
Tony, you got kicked out again.
Oh,
just slide over behind me, and then we'll just be one computer.
Tony says, "What's this button do?" And then he's gone. You know, the Challenger went away.
Far up north are you from New York City and Connecticut, or?
Oh, northeast, right there. What New York's got to be an hour drive at most?
It's about so when my wife and I went to Manhattan a couple weeks ago, that was just shy of 2 hours.
And that's just really because of traffic, though, right? Because
there was
really
none. Because it was on a Saturday. We went early Saturday morning, hitting no traffic. All right, folks. Now you really see how a sausage is made.
I don't know. I don't want to know what goes on in your garage. You know,
car house.
Who's your buddy? Who's your pal?